This is a copy of the exciting new report called Learning Continuum Class View that you can access beginning in August in the Learning Continuum. In September, this report will be accessible right from the class breakdown by goal report. We're going to spend some time this morning exploring how we can use this new report to utilize the map data to help you plan instruction to meet your students' varied needs in a much more quick and efficient way. This is a document that should be familiar to quite a few of you that have taken an SSD workshop, the Data to Instruction Framework. This new report is going to make this process much more effective and efficient. Let's review the steps of the Data to Instruction Framework so we can see how the class view in the Learning Continuum simplifies this process. First of all, you can see that step 1 in the content area is the content area of math has been chosen, and then a topic or standard of area has been drilled down one step further. In our example that we're using, the teacher has chosen measurement and data as the goal and geometric measurement as the sub-goal. Know that the Learning Continuum is aligned to the Common Core standards, so this tool helps with the alignment of instruction to these new standards. From the class view in the Learning Continuum, you'll also be able to find the RIT ranges and the students who fall within each of those bands. Now let's go back to that class view to see how, in the Learning Continuum, to see how it can help us even further. Looking at the top of the class view, we can see how the teacher has chosen Math Common Core assessment, and under that looked at the various options for either topic or standard under that display option. From there, chose the measurement and data, and then the sub-goal, which is collapsible if you choose to, of geometric measurement and problem solving. Notice on the left side, the report identifies the RIT scores that are represented by the students in the classroom. And then on the very right side, you see the actual students, you see their overall RIT score, as well as their goal ranges. Know that if this was a reading subject that I had chosen, I would also see the Lexile for each student. Let's look at these RIT ranges that are shown. Which would be the middle range for this class? And you can see it's indicating the 201 to 210. Because we have 3 predominant groups in the classroom, that would be the middle. And from there, let's look a little bit deeper. Which are the range of scores above and below? And then similarly, we can look at the students. Which are the range of the students above and below? And as we're doing this, we want to think about where does the standard for our state in this particular area, where would I find it? Which RIT range would I find it in? To give a little bit more focus, you can see it's identified, and we would know this by looking at our norming data, that the grade level mean RIT for this particular subject is 212.9. So that the grade level mean is a little bit above that middle group that I'm going to be focusing this lesson on. Going back to our Data to Instruction framework, filling it in with the information we just got off the reports. We can see we've already can start pinpointing with which students are going to fall within which range. And now we're going to go back to that report again as we try and figure out, okay, what are we going to teach? How am I effectively going to teach each of these groups? So back to the report again, excuse me. The class view, this time we're going to concentrate more on the learning statements. I'd like you just to look at those learning statements across the various RIT bands and tell me what is it you see. Excuse me. Yeah, there's some of the same statements over several of the RIP bands, aren't they? So we know those RIP bands are going to cover a wider range of students and their abilities. Think to yourself for a minute. How would you manage that wider range? Because we can see that it's helped us by color coding our low group, our middle group, and our upper group. How within a lesson, in a manageable way, could I help cover those ranges? To me, I think what's going to would be so helpful to me is the information I already know about the students. Because knowing this, if you've noticed, the overall range of the student is shown, as well as their overall RIT score. And if you look, and if you remember from using similar reports before, that if the overall RIT range is above their goal range, then that shows that that might be an area of concern for the student. Or if their goal range is above what their overall RIT score is, then that's an area of strength. All of that is really great information for you as a teacher as you begin to think about how to design your instruction to meet the individual students' needs as well as the class's needs. This next step, we're going back to our data to instruction framework. Look, adding in those skills, and then we can see the one piece of information that we won't be able to get from this report is really that which you as a teacher, your background is built for. Leaves you choosing the student activities and instructional strategies that you're going to actually use to teach, to help your kids meet standard. Because as we looked at, chances are for this classroom, this lesson that you're teaching, putting the focus on, may not be where your grade level standard is for Common Core, but it's going to help you reach over time getting your students up to where they need to be, but at the same time meeting their academic needs along the way. So you can see in the final steps, if you look in your grade level curriculum and other resources you have in your classroom to help match the students' learning statements to where they're ready to learn. Now you're going to get to try this on your own, either individually or in small groups. Now put up the steps we just saw. You're going to identify a content area, and then do some exploring with that topic or standard to see which really helps you drill down to where what you see on your Common Core standards for your state to help you match your instruction to those needs. Then find a related goal or sub-goal area in the learning continuum. Identify the RIT ranges that it shows for your class. Figure out where that middle range is. What skills are going to be important to be teaching in each of those, and then looking at the learning statements. And then you'll determine, just like we did just a minute ago, what's the middle range of your classroom performance in that goal area. And at the same time, you're going to keep in mind where the standard is that you need to get the students to by the end of the year, but concentrating for today on where they are ready to learn. And then identify the range of scores above and below. And this is all we're going to have you do for right now. Know that later in the day, we're going to be adding in some more information, and then we'll try getting to those later steps. But for right now, we'd just really like to do some exploration of that class view report in the learning continuum.